Hi everyone, welcome. Today we've got a very special episode where I'll be starting off a live guide series basically. I'm not sure what the cadence of this will be, basically as and when I'm able to do it. But the idea here is that any Halo Wars 2 player that wanted to get into competitive play or multiplayer in general, and you haven't felt maybe confident enough to do so, it's a bit intimidating. Well, let me unpack this whole thing for you in an easy to understand manner. We'll be doing it live just to showcase really how easy it is to understand, and it of course allows me to answer some questions live as well towards the second half probably. I basically modeled this off of the Day 9 dailies. If you were familiar with that in the early 2010s, when Day 9 TV essentially did these StarCraft 2 episodes where he did a very similar thing to what I'm describing, essentially just breaking down what StarCraft 2 multiplayer was about and getting a lot of newbies into the game. Now, we're going to have some difficulties here, technically speaking, because Halo Wars 2 doesn't support replays and all that. So we're going to have to just go in live and do it on the spot. But that's cool. That's cool. We can handle it. Hopefully, I'm half as good a public speaker as that guy is. And also, I have another super quick disclaimer. I've been a bad boy. I've broken my own rules and standards in a chat conversation with one of our players, Daylon. He did make me angry, and I really went way too far in retaliation. And yeah, it feels bad. It feels bad, but most importantly, I'm breaking my own standards. So one of the things that we will do about toxicity over here at MetaPlace is that we'll introduce a warning point system as well as community service requirements for banned people. And I think I would have banned myself that one conversation. So I'm going to apply to myself right now the penalty of community service. This is the community service. I'm making you guys a guide right now. So let's go and get into Halo Wars 2. I don't need a scoreboard for this one, do I? Here's the thing, guys. Nope, that's not the one. That's the one. Here's the thing, guys. Most of you will be playing as Captain Cutter, right? That's just how it is. The vast majority of people do that. We're going to start off on the map Bedrock. It's just the basic selection. And the first recommendation I can make before you do anything at all, supposedly you will have played the campaign, right? That's where we are starting off of. And you can probably beat the hard AI, but I'm going to set mine to legendary, which means it's not cheating, but it's like the best the game has to offer at the moment. So you're supposed to be able to beat this, hopefully with a little bit of practice if you're completely new to the game. I'm going to be playing as Captain Cutter just because half of the people are basically. That's that's the stats, guys. And we're going to be talking about how to set up, what to do, what not to do in particular. And I'm not going to be hyper efficient with everything off the bat, right? I'm mostly worried about explaining here. So you're going to have these starting resources, these starting units. So how do you efficiently make use of everything that you've got at the very beginning? Well, you're going to need supplies because everything here costs supplies, right? So we got to build up an economy that can sustain itself as we expand and produce more stuff. RTS games are all about numbers, essentially. And I think I'm on the wrong screen. I want it to be on this one so you can see my mouse cursor. Can you see the mouse cursor? No. Let's fix that. Capture cursor. Now you can see my mouse cursor. I'm playing with keyboard and mouse. Many Halo Wars 2 players will be playing with controller, so that's going to be, a difference, but it is what I am. It is who I am. Let's get used to it. We're going to start with supply pads because everything here costs supplies except for the armory, right? So building wise, we're going to need that, and you need income. One of the bad things that new players do is they would place down one building each and then just stop. Well, one important thing to learn here is that to have as much income as you can, you want to have buildings coming in one after the other. You don't want any of these slots to be idle on your building, on your base, right? So if I'm idle right now, nothing's working. Only one building can be made at a time, that's true. But let's say we add another one. Now this is working. The others are obviously not idle because they can't work. but we're maximizing essentially the income that we can have. We have 400 starting power, and guess what? If we upgrade this to get us much more income, long term this will pay off. Trust me, it takes a few minutes at most. So we start this, but we're also gonna go out and capture some resources around the map, right? And next up, we're gonna add a generator. Now we're gonna do this smoothly afterwards. Don't worry, this is not how I play. And we're gonna want a jackrabbit out as well. It could be double marine, but we're gonna go jackrabbit because it's gonna be more advantageous to what you want to do. And cutter typically goes for UNSC raid as the leader power. It makes your infantry faster and capture faster. You aren't able to immediately upgrade this generator, but we are going to get another supply pad here, right? And then one of the things we want to do is also get a watchtower. You can make turrets simultaneously to buildings, so you do want to make use of that. We have captured here, and the AI is going to attack us. So we are going to need to defend ourselves. We have 300 power now that the generator is also getting us that. So we're going to upgrade the generator right away. Something I see with newer players especially. We're going to get another jackrabbit out because we can. And also a barracks because we'll probably need it as we're being rushed right now by brutes. Right, we're going to get mini bases. We can build them simultaneously as well to everything else. But one of the things I see new players do is not upgrade the generator, right? Which is a huge, huge error in judgment. Guys, you got to upgrade the generators because they create twice the power. In just over a minute, you'll have it paid off. It's not even a consideration not to do it. We're gonna get also a heavy supply pad because we have 200 power. So every time you have the resources, you can see I'm spending them right away. I'm not as fast as I could be if I wasn't trying to point out and explain things as much, but I am doing the things, right? Now we're gonna go for a lotus mine. We know we're gonna be rushed, so we're just gonna put this off here. They might jump before, that's okay. The mini bases are complete, so we're gonna build on them now. And we have quite a bit of income. Since we're being rushed, we could make a turret. But you know what? We're gonna probably get out a Spartan soon enough. Let's just get a few Hellbringers going. And we've stolen the mini base on the other side. The AI is a bit slow at coming back. We've spotted them on the map already, so we don't need to reconfirm in the main base what's going on there. Right, but basically one of the things I'm doing around the map right now is picking up all these resources. So that's all the very fundamentals. We have established all of our mini bases. We have all the slotted buildings. We can add a turret if we want. I'll do that right now, and we're gonna get a Spartan out, and our resources are fully consumed. If you're not consuming all your resources that you're getting from income, you're basically going to put them to waste. So if they just sit in the bank, they're not doing anything, right? That's the idea. You gotta invest your money into stuff so that it can do things. Otherwise, you'll be just very rich on paper, but not in practice. So we're not seeing the rush happen, and that opens up the opportunity for us to go and grab a second base. When you have 3 Marines, it's pretty easy to actually take out these sentinels that protect the power nodes, right? But we have money to expand, so let's do it. Let's get another base. Let's grow our economy even more. And we're gonna put a jackrabbit up there to see. If you put your Marines far away from the sentinels, you can destroy them very easily without any retaliation. But I think that's no longer going to be necessary. Rally points. You can always put your rally points on your stronger units like your heroes. That's a very good way to link up your whole group, really. Yeah, we're not being attacked. So that's the first 5 minutes. The base is now on the way, and there's no threat, right? So we can just recycle this, get a generator and such. There is the enemy troops. It's really not that bad. We have our third power already, which we've got from, you know, setting up all our buildings. It's given us a lot, really. And this army is gonna probably eat our mines. We've dropped in the ODSTs to get a stun. We've dropped our Spartan on them. And that should be a pretty good little setup. We do have to get the hell out of here because this is like a huge saved up attack from the AI, but they are gonna walk over one more set of mines. We aren't going to be able to use our jackrabbits that much, but yeah, they've run over everything here, right? We've significantly hurt them, which is good. We've got a second generator up and running, and that's upgrading as well. So that's basically the initial setup that you gotta do. The second base is ready. You can just put pads on it. It's okay to pre-spend, right? One of the things that players do would be, oh, I have so many resources, I'm just gonna go to one building and spam all the marines. Now, this is not great. It uses up all your resources, whereas what you could do is make one here, make one here, make one here, make one here. So this basically splits up your production, makes use of all your resources. I hope that's a really useful piece of information for you guys, because you'll be able to make in the same amount of time with the same resources 4 marines instead of just 1 at a time, right? It's a huge advantage. All right, so let's put this all together again and just do it in a more fluent manner so that it's, you know, suitable for competitive play, as you might expect. You had no idea that the upgraded pads had more hit points. Learn that from the cast. Thank you, thank you. They do indeed. So yeah, we're just gonna do the same thing, but very fluently now, and then we'll jump on into our next topic, which is how to path, how to send out your first initial unit. So pad, one of the marines goes there. We're gonna get a jackrabbit. We're gonna get power because we need that for our generator upgrade down the line, right? Spending on a jackrabbit slows things down. I like to use the camera control groups on PC so that I can jump to the exact base that I want and not just cycle through them individually. We're going to upgrade the supply pad immediately. We're going to get UNSC raid to speed up our infantry. And then we're going to get a generator queued up. Right, this jackrabbit can just go straight across the map once we are picking up this power over there. And the marine, we just queue it over to that one. I am kind of covering the pathing right now all at the same time, I suppose. That's alright. We can see also that the AI is over there. There's some kind of elite leader. Looks like shipmaster. Nothing wrong with that. So the marine, we're going to get some quick line of sight on this thing. And buy it as soon as possible. Generator's done. We can get a pad. We can get the mini base all at the same time. The jackrabbit's nearly done, and we're gonna go all the way into the main to get a full scout off. Now, against shipmaster or arbiter for that matter, it can be very beneficial to go into an early barracks. But another thing that is a really good strategy is just not do that and go for a supply pad. So this is a very standard way to play. You can absolutely go into detection and whatever. We're seeing that they are in fact going to do some kind of rush play. So the jackrabbit strat is gonna really reward us here. And we're gonna send this marine back over here. We're gonna get a watchtower, and then we'll get a turret supposedly. Really can't hurt us. We're gonna also pick up some resources in the back. We could steal that mini base, but I don't quite have the money. I'm gonna let the power float rather than upgrade a second supply pad, because we're specifically looking to go into jackrabbits to beat the rush, right? Like, they're not going to have... Actually, we're gonna steal that mini base. We're gonna steal one. We're not gonna steal multiple because the AI is very aggressive. They didn't get multiple mini bases, right? So their production is what it is, but we're gonna make do. Get that support drone upgrade for your jackrabbit so that you can have them repaired. And then we're pumping the jackrabbits. As soon as we are able to, we're gonna get the next one. Once you have the 220 resources, supplies, you're gonna want to get that jackrabbit, but not before the support drone is done in the main, right? Like, we're gonna first buy our little supply pads here. Now it's done. We're gonna get on that. We're gonna keep buying the rabbits. We're gonna have 200 power, and as soon as we do, we're gonna upgrade this heavy supply pad, or this regular supply pad, to heavy. Because, well, you have the resources, you make immediate use of it, and you're gonna have more supplies. As you can see, when I use all the mini bases, it's actually too much to try to continuously produce jackrabbits at this point in the game, right? I've spent on a turret, I spent on this foreign mini base on the other side of the map, right? and it's just too much. We can't afford. We don't have the income to sustain the resource costs per second that the jackrabbits require for a production cycle. So we can't do that, but we can produce them as often as we can, and whenever we have 200 power but no supplies, we just upgrade the next supply pad to make full use of our resources. The jackrabbits will regenerate, so it's okay to try and take on some of these power nodes. Sentinels are easy kills as long as you have a few guys, and then we're gonna just let them wreck the brutes. I'm not doing any fancy micromanagement right now because that's gonna be another episode altogether. We're gonna cover that, but not today. Not today. We're starting to float some power, some resources, as you can see, and over 400. If we recycle this unupgraded one, then we can make a second generator which costs 500. Once again, just trying to make use of our available resources the best we can. And once that is done, you'll see the power is starting to get to a point where it's almost 300. So as that generator completes, we'll be able to upgrade it right away and double its income. Never ever leave your generators naked. It's done, we upgrade it, that's it. That's the pace of that. I did forget some resources back here. I could send this one jackrabbit to pick up the resources. We are gonna pick up all the power nodes around the map. We're gonna make a safety turret, and you know what? Because we're so safe, we're gonna expand. Although we did unlock some nice leader powers here, we're gonna get our UNSC raid 2, and we're gonna get our ODST drop. So our jackrabbits can now capture, actually, which is huge. I'm gonna make some more because we can. It's gonna be a long road to tier 2, which requires 1,000 resources in the bank. The jackrabbits can now capture with raid 2, so we're gonna make use of that and just run over here. We don't care if the AI doesn't attack us. That's cool. That's cool by us. I see these guys, you don't even have to micro them when they are in such large numbers. Although I do wish they were capturing. There we go. This base is nearly ready to upgrade. I'm gonna pull back the Marines to stop this capturing action. AI is trying to be everywhere. We're gonna add a third turret because we can. And this new base, we can actually afford a third generator, and I'm not necessarily thinking it's too greedy. We can go for the command center now. It's tier 2. And all we gotta do is just protect these jackrabbits. But maybe one of the things we could have done is to do an ODST drop right now. And the only micro we're doing here is just making sure the jackrabbits stay on the move. We don't want them to get hit by mass stuns from these brutes. The AI is not going to want to engage it. And once we have 800 resources once again, we're going to drop in those ODSTs. But we're not just saving up for it. No, we're not letting these buildings go idle. I'm upgrading the generator right away. I have the power. I can get combat station. And now it's a good time to use the ODSTs. Back home, we can get the armory done so that we can get out a Spartan. You could argue that it would be a good idea to start that set of buildings earlier, especially for the Spartan. You can get the ODSTs out of here. 2 of them died, but it's okay because the jackrabbits are picking off absolutely everything. And this new base is nearly ready. We're going to add another supply pad to it so that we have the income that we need. And then we're going to add supposedly a barracks, which is suitable for Cutter. We're going to upgrade Spartan and then get the actual Spartan out. You probably don't want it running around without any upgrades. And from here, against Shipmaster, one of the strategies is to actually forego your Marines. We're gonna get another base because once again, we defeated this initial push, right? So nothing really came off it. We're gonna add a garage and we're gonna add a second barracks here. The garage will be for beating air. We're gonna make Hellbringers and add some dispersion nozzles because they're gonna be pretty damn heavy on infantry, right? We're gonna use our rabbits to keep map control, make sure they're not capturing their own bases. They have this power node here still, and we're gonna add in supposedly the turret drop or restoration drones. It's really up to you. I like my turret drop for this situation because they seem to be going into infantry. They don't make any bases, so we're all good. Spartans coming soon. We're upgrading the dispersion nozzles, which will make the Hellbringers absolute Giga Chads. We're going to add in some Wolverines for some anti-air in case they do go air. And speaking of, that's a good time to go and check what the hell they're doing in the main. Maybe we have some buildings that we can respond to. Yeah, they're just making a greedy extra generator. They still didn't get the mini bases. I guess the AI is bugged like that. And we're just gonna pump out those Hellbringers. We have a lot of resources right now in the bank. The next base is done as well. We're gonna add an air pad there for, you know, Nightingales and healing up our guys. And this is kind of the time where you want to donate away your Jackrabbits, right? They're no longer particularly useful. So we can just absolutely have a fight here. Trade them away into this infantry. Take them out. However much value you can get is good, but we need the population space to make other stuff. We're going to upgrade Spartan Laser because, well, we expect to lose some of these rabbits soon. We're just going to send them into the main, I suppose. Maybe we can destroy that weak extractor. Again, you guys have probably heard earlier that the buildings have more health once you upgrade them, not just more income. And so taking out a simple extractor like that is a very, very high cost efficiency move. We also unlocked our 5th point where we can drop in a whole bunch of boys, and we're going to upgrade our reinforcements, bring the other guys in as well while we're at it. Hurt some of these upgraded buildings over there, like that extractor. And I guess we can drop in our remaining powers while the Jackrabbits are going down. Make the additional buildings, of course. I think we are upgrading reinforcements to get to tier 2. The Hellbringers are going to be nice against buildings here. If there was an infantry army here from Shippy, that would probably hurt. But we've got all our drops to rely on, so we can very quickly reach high population marks. It's an easy leader, this cutter guy. you can just rely very heavily on economy and drop in your guys. Yeah, basically they have nothing left. Sure, we're getting beamed a little bit. It's cool. If you can split out, there will be a separate guide just for that. But yeah, the AI is essentially toast. They have nothing left. And I think we can move on to the next part where we start talking a little bit about how to path. So we're going to go through the different maps, and I'm going to give you guys some initial paths to take with your boys. Again, we're just going to stay cutter just to keep things very, very simple. Just some quick water needed for this. Honestly, been having an itch to play Halo Wars 2 online, but too scared to play. Get okay, but the players, and so making this tutorial in advance. Of course, of course. So we've seen Bedrock, right? I'm gonna take a look at the other maps. Typically, power is pretty important early on, so that's one thing you're gonna be wanting to focus on, and you don't have to do this with the Jackrabbit. Like, you could get 2 Marines instead. It's a very similar cost basis overall, so you could absolutely rely on that. We're gonna make a Jackrabbit though. We're gonna do our same build order as last time, and what I like to do here on Ashes, personally, is I send this 1 Marine down here, and I back it up with the Jackrabbit. The reason for that is because people like to, especially Banished players, they love to bully you there with their chopper. Well, the chopper likes to target the Marine. So if you have a Marine around, the Jackrabbit of yours can actually do quite a bunch of damage. Then this guy, I like to typically just send down here to get resources in case you are subject to getting bullied and they want to steal your mini base. You can prevent that. We're going to upgrade the supply pad back home, of course. And we're seeing nothing, right? So at this point, I like to check with this Jackrabbit. Are they going for the side power? Is that something they want to do? Like, whoever gets the most of his power on the map is going to significantly benefit, as there's just a lot scattered. And you can see, compared to the last game, we can immediately upgrade this generator, and that's going to be super advantageous for us. Now, because it's just freely available here, we're not going to necessarily stick around for the whole thing. The Marine, I like to next up send back here to take the rest of the power. But if this is an opportunity to steal a mini base, then great, let's do it. And what we want to do after that is head up here. I could just very quickly stop by this mini base, but what I like to do is actually come up here right away. On the path, we see the mini base anyhow, and then we can just take the long way around to reach this one, and then the last Marine back there can head up as well at the same time. The Jackrabbit right away has some resources to pick up to make this purchase easier as well. We have a lot of extra power, so we can use that on, let's say, grenades, or we can get our Jackrabbit upgrade once again like last time. I think here, because we have 4 mini bases, we are going to in fact go into the Jackrabbits. And our second point is going to come through soon as well. We're going to upgrade support drone, just a little bit slow to click the button. Could have done it at 450 power, but if we do it at 500, whatever, you'll live. But if you can, then please do it at a lower value. The Marine here is done. We're going to assume at this point that they have already taken this, right? Like, it's just AI, so it's not going to, but they should have done that already. Now, we're going to have just 2 Marines, right? But the Jackrabbits can also capture power nodes with cutters. So this is a very specific situation there. Normally, we would have the Marines get on the job. And you know what? We're going to send 1 rabbit here while we upgrade this pad to get the rest of the resources. You want to pick up all the resources on the map because it just means you have more units. We're going to ignore that. Let's pretend that's not there. But there's some more blue here. We're going to pick that up. And as you'll see, I have almost entirely cleaned up the map. I don't yet have the numbers to really start a big fight. But I can bring over these 2 Marines and we can start capturing the power node, or at least work on the Sentinel so that it's easier for our Jackrabbits. And you'll see, I try to time my jumps to the bases when the Jackrabbits are actually done already. And then we can just go back home and spend our 200 power wherever it's available. So when the Marines are at maximum range, the Sentinels actually can't see them. This is a very nice little property for them. Very easy to take the power nodes. We've picked up all the resources that should naturally belong to us. But there's probably more that you can get in some games when the other player is very aggressive or something like that. Now, these Marines probably have their job done, right? Like, they can just come back. We put them in hold position, then we take the garrison with them. We can start a second generator and pump more rabbits, of course. We built up our resource bank there because I'm talking too much. But you guys get the idea. Expand the resources. If there's gonna be some kind of brute attack, we can get a turret back home as well. And this generator, I'm already smashing my button to pre-upgrade it. The button that's allocated to this in order to get that double income the moment I can. Because normally it's just 3 power per second, but with the upgrade it is 6. Then you take 4 power nodes, that's also equivalent to 6. They each individually generate 1.5 per second. Yeah, we have the power nodes. We have more than half basically on the way. We have our third point. And this is just a great moment to expand. Actually, with this Marine, we are already here, right? We're just going to expand right now. While we get a second turret, because we can afford both at 800. Put them in here. Guys, if you can afford it, you buy it. That's true most of the time. There are cases where you don't want to do that. Like, saving up for tier 2 with your power. You're not going to want to necessarily upgrade every single pad. But that's pathing. That's pathing. We've gone through all the resources around the map. We've minimized our time for moving around our units. So they went from nearby targets to nearby targets. And that means they were pretty efficient in doing their job of growing our income, our economy, and later our production. We don't have any production right now. We've relied on basic units. But once we go to tier 2, we are going to add in that production. We could be going Marines right now as a switcheroo and get a strong combat tech setup, combat tech Marine setup, reinforce them with our drops, etc. But yeah, you guys understand. We went for the resources here. That was the focus of that part. We've already spoken about timing our upgrades. We've already talked about that. So that was my next little note here for myself. Let's talk about efficiently capturing the power nodes. And we're also going to talk about the Banished now. We could go through some of the other maps, but I think you guys get the idea. Do you guys want to see the other maps? How we do the pathing there? Because I guess there's... Okay, let's do that. Let's do more maps. Actually, they are all a little bit different. So I'm just gonna go through everything that's playable in ladder. Let's do that in 1v1s. You should play 1v1s, by the way, because if you don't, you'll be relying on someone else. You'll have more variables to think about, and basically the way to improve yourself is to isolate your own issues. You do that by playing 1v1. After this lesson, you will defeat Liam. That's the spirit. All right, we're gonna go to Rift now, and I'm not gonna play Cutter, or we can play Cutter, but we're gonna go Marines this time, just for the heck of it. Rift does have a little bit of a different pathing for you to take. We're gonna make 2 Marines here, no Jackrabbit. We're still gonna go double pad, and we're gonna secure this initial resource bundle right there, because people like to send a scout to bully the individual Marine, but it's kind of protected by the power node, as if you aggro the Sentinels, you just shoot them once, then they'll prioritize shooting at the scout vehicles. So that's good for just safety reasons. We're gonna put this new Marine out there, and the second one just back here, and then this guy can move on fairly soon to this location. Once we have the 200 resources for the mini base, we'll immediately move on, however, to up here. There's a garrison that we need to secure, and it's not entirely guaranteed that we'll get it. I think we can just queue up another pad here. We can afford everything at once. These guys are going to be sent to pick up the side resources. These guys can go to the middle to pick up more power there. We get the mini base, and we immediately skip that resource bundle because we need this garrison. We might not get it if the other guy was super focused on having it themselves, and we don't want to have our mini bases get stolen, right? So I'm going to send these guys back right away as soon as I'm done picking up these. The next pad is in, and oh, the Marine actually didn't move. Sometimes they don't want to move if you order them very directly onto the bundle. It's a good idea to set up a queue for them. All right, we can just get another pad, and we are gonna make some more Marines back here. When this is done, we're gonna start working on the Spartan, and we're not allowed to take these resources. We're gonna get into that garrison instead, I suppose. It's fine. Okay, Marines are nearly done. We can back here start up our armory, and we're just gonna make some more Marines. So these guys are not gonna be enough to take the power node. Well, I did want to draw them in. Right, looks like we have 3 Marines. That's a magic number. Remember, 3 Marines. Especially with the support of a garrison, it's super easy, by the way, to take the power nodes. And this time they stay aggro? No, they don't. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna mess with that. We're just gonna capture this right away. As we'll have 3 Marines around. More than 3 Marines. And we can just work on this. We're gonna get the Spartan out. We can get another generator back home and start queuing up more Marines. You'll notice that we have a big float of power. I'm doing this on purpose this time because we're gonna get a tier 1 variant of this build. Because we have so many Marines, it's gonna be a good idea to equip them with some extra support, and that extra support is going to be grenades. This is gonna mean that the generator upgrade will be delayed here, but that's okay. We could technically go for generator upgrade first and then the Marines. Look, guys, as far as this goes, we're just gonna right-click the power node and the Marines will take care of the rest. Okay, there's just so many. But when you have 3, I'm gonna separate them here and send them to that power node. They can do that even then, with just 3 guys. That's gonna be what we'll watch. That's the only thing we really needed from here. If there's a ghost, you just smack him with your grenades once that's done. But yeah, guys, there's 3 of them. 1 of them captures, 2 of them shoot. That's enough. You'll take some damage, it's true, but it's worth it. It's very well worth it, because you'll do it so much faster than any other kind of scenario. Hopefully they'll capture. Sometimes they're a little bit reluctant to do so. You have to reinforce them with some extra clicks to get it done. The shooting Marines will be gaining veterancy, making this process easier. And like I said, these guys will take a lot of damage, so you can do this maybe to 2 power nodes before the Marines will get very, very low and vulnerable to counterattack. I technically like sending 4 if I can manage. One way you can do things is to just use the long range attacks, right? Like if you have these Marines at full range, the Sentinels can't see them, you'll be preserving their health. But if you just want power nodes quickly, which is much better for your economy, it's much more important than having 1 Marine at full health, right? So I think that's a reasonable consideration to make there, that you would prioritize the power node timing instead of the health of your individual Marines. Okay, let's take a look at that with the Banished. Now, the Banished are going to be pretty damn different. Sometimes people do open up with just absolute mass scouts. We're going to take a look at their version, but it's pretty much the same idea with UNSC. It's just you have to have different considerations. If you have one of the brute leaders, their grunts are very unreliable in terms of capturing. So we're going to just demonstrate here with Atriox on Vault. You can keep the same pathing in mind as you would with UNSC. And thanks to Auto Mixer, by the way, for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. All right, it's going to be the same build, more or less, guys. We're just going to get our 3 initial grunts moving instead of just 2 Marines, right? And we still get our chopper. So we're going to take the close by resources and send one of the guys to power so that our generator the third building will be generated so that that can be upgraded in time, of course. And then we expect a more macro-like game with expanding and whatnot on a big map like Vault. We're gonna opt into fortifications as our leader power. Gonna get that generator third. It's okay to queue up a little bit as long as you don't do too much. Don't be worried about that. These guys probably need a bit of queuing up as well so that they immediately go to the next resources. We'll do that back here as well. As you'll note, my pathing is very focused on getting line of sight on those mini bases, right? So I'm trying to get them as soon as I can without sacrificing the time on my base. I want these slots to constantly build, and I want my mini bases as soon as possible while still getting close to our crates, especially the power crates. And you can see I was immediately able to upgrade the extractor. We can secure our back mini base right away. This more expensive middle mini base, the reason I'm foregoing it for now, while I'm getting everything else done, is simply that it's more expensive, right? And it has 2 slots. If I can get a cheaper one and get my slot building all the same, then it's okay for this to be slightly later / slower. Unfortunately, I can't see from up here with the grunt. I have to send this other guy to get that. No worries. Well, we're gonna want to get the Atriox chosen. So we'll start the process back here. It's arguably a little late, but we already picked up the majority of our resources. Scare away that Marine. We could run it down if we wanted to. That's okay. And we're gonna start talking about taking that power node also. Get the chosen out as soon as we can. Add some grunts. Wow, that Marine is adamant. Here in the middle, we're gonna get a raid camp going. Never leave your chosen unupgraded. His specific hero upgrade is super valuable. And with 5 grunts, that's more than enough to start taking our power nodes with. You'll notice that I've picked up also the opponent's power on this side. Well, technically this is their side, but since we send our initial scout there, it's very easy to control that location. Alright, we have 4 squads, 5 squads, that's more than enough. We're gonna send them in to start capturing. We don't shoot the sentinels. Okay, you don't shoot the sentinels. You wait until the guys start capturing, because then they're locked in. If you click away, they're not going to be able to do the capture. Let me show you that. Brute grunts do not capture until the enemies are gone. This is getting decaptured at the moment. And now they're gone, and now they're capturing. So brute grunts, definitely a pain in your butt. You're gonna have to deal with that. And yeah, we're Atriox, so we're gonna do the Atriox things. Fortifications 2, a turret, an extractor, a base. Come on. A base. Another base. And we just take the power nodes in the meantime. Yeah, just let the grunts take care of it. It's all good. So much for pathing. I guess we have these crates left. We're gonna pick them up if we're allowed to. And we're gonna make some more turrets back home. We're gonna upgrade the extractor. And you're in a pretty good spot. Bob's your uncle. Next map. Is Frontier. Let's pick a different leader. I'm not sure I want to combine it with many other things. Let's just go back to Cutter for now. A pretty popular pick here. But so is Atriox. So are many others. You'll get your feel for it later. Okay, these are the initial crates that I like to go to with the Marines. Because it likely needs protection. Like, if we're playing against whatever, it's very likely you'll get attacked with some early units. And it's pretty difficult to hold, actually. So we're going to want the Jackrabbit with that Marine, just to make sure there's nothing fishy happening there. And we're going to pick up the stuff at the back as well. We want line of sight on this mini base. Okay, doesn't look like we're under attack, so we can go and pick up the power on the side. And as the generator is being worked on, we can grab the front mini base. We're gonna pick up these crates next. Pretty much right away, we can upgrade the generator. And yeah, Metalloid says in the chat that, oh, sorry. Yeah, it was Metalloid. And Sean, that they like the generator second builds as well. I will actually get around to that with Forge. I think it's just easier for everyone to remember the generator third for everyone else, and then the special cases will cover that. Okay, you guys can go over here. Some people pick up that or this. I think it's a bit daring. You might get attacked. And then you have only one boy out, so it's a little risky. But that's okay. We're gonna want to get a Spartan out. And this mini base. That's it. That's half the mini bases. Most of the resources. And then there's this stuff up front. After this, you have no crates left. See? I went after everything. This Jackrabbit can pick up these or go scouting. It's a pretty good time at 2 minutes to go scout. And I think I like the Lotus Mine and Marines here. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's set our camera groups there. And you could argue it's pretty important to have some kind of barracks units here for cutter, snipers against UNSC. That's true. We're gonna take a look at what the AI is doing and then decide that. We left a little bit. That's fine. And after these resources are picked up, we can get started on... Okay, jackrabbits. So we're gonna want our marine numbers up and running. Get grenades instead of the Spartan upgrade. The AI isn't gonna necessitate us going for any... Oh, they're upgrading our generator. That's annoying. We're gonna very quickly capture this power node, and then we're gonna go deal with that. And we're gonna do a little bombo combo here. They're stunned, so they can't run. And even under a little bit of pressure, you have a pretty easy defense thanks to those grenades. You upgrade the Spartan. And you can just take power nodes, which the jackrabbits can't if they're not cutter, right? So you have a pretty huge advantage in this kind of situation. You can get your second generator as well, as soon as you have the resources available. And that's it for pathing. We've got the power nodes, we've got the pick-me-ups. You can take extra mini bases, like the AI should have this, of course, but hey, they don't have it, so you can take it actually. If not, then you would be probably fighting it and destroying it, but the priority lies with the power node. It's more instant results for you. Then you take on the generator, of course, as you're capturing it. That's it for pathing here. You can get a second base, etc., as we've talked about before. What do we want to jump into next? Do you guys want even more maps? Show you guys my Fisher's pathing. And again, there's many variants of this, right? Like, this is not gospel. The guys in the chat are right now discussing other ways to set up. There are definitely other ways to set up. Okay, Fishers. Let's go into that. So I like to actually keep my Marines together, and once we have the third Marine out, the first Marine that we're producing or training, then they can go together. And this is important because Fishers in the middle has these two big bundles, right? And there's usually very heavy fighting over it. Usually people mess with the Sentinels in the middle, and then this is the mini base you want after that. So you can technically argue that there's so much power. If you can grab it, why not go for a supply third opener? And then we're gonna also secure this little box. Now people might piss these off, right? And then you have to no, don't want to take that. Then you're gonna go for this. You're gonna split up your boys to go for multiple spots at the same time. There's yellow here, so you want one of these mini bases for sure, because if you don't, well, it's kind of painful. Yes, Sentinel's gonna turn around. They're pissed off, so they're gonna attack this location and cover it for us. Generator here real quick, and then the Marine. We'll have to just wait a moment until we have the resources. You could have stopped this guy here to get the faster mini base. It's all about prioritizing what you think you need the most in the current situation. If you saw a lot of units here in the middle, I think what I did is actually wrong. If there's a lot of heavy fighting in the middle, then you want that mini base grab sooner before you go for these crates. In fact, you should have left the Marine close by as well, so that it can help. Then, yeah, you just keep going here. You can get a Spartan out there. I'm gonna take the power node now. There's more resources, of course. And then we add a barracks because we want to be pretty damn aggressive on this one. Get the Spartan out. And lastly, this guy can go back there to pick up the remaining resources. We're gonna get bullied by the ghosts. So I suppose we need to put down the mines, but we don't have line of sight there. Well, the Spartan's nearly out. Of course, you could be under attack by brutes, and that would be pretty hard. Next up, we want to wait for our grenades. Oh, we never picked up those. One thing you can do is take this little garrison. That's a nice little anchor for your fights. Get that grenade upgrade. And if you're feeling very comfortable, you can get a second generator. It isn't particularly easy to attack you here. Yeah, Metalloid's saying there's a variant here where you do a rabbit. I think I like the Marines just because I wiggle a lot, right? I'm not sure a newer player would do that. So, Metalloid's advice might be actually better there. And then you just add Hellbringers. You go and do some pressure. The Spartan upgrade is still not in because we're upgrading this generator first. Now we can queue it at 300 power. Take all the power nodes you can. If you can be so aggressive, that's great, I think. We're not gonna have much here, but I mean, we're probably forcing them to build some turrets, right? That's good. Almost all the resources have been picked up. We've been aggressively taking the power nodes, denying them to the other player. We have forced, in fact, the turret up. So that's really good news. Can get rid of this armory and get up another supply pad, which will help us a lot in the long run. I've been saving up the yellow, but I'm not so positive about needing to do that. Easy to destroy extractor there, and so on and so forth. Dropping your ODSTs when you can. You could have upgraded your supply pads here. There's 2 left for it. If we did, we probably have the resources for ODSTs, but without that, we can still go for our tier 2 and just drop in the ODSTs now. Which is kind of good enough. And so on and so forth. Yeah. Yeah, I know, guys, the AI isn't the best example. But I'm just showing the very basics to people that have never clicked into a 1v1 matchmaking, right? So that's, I think, very important context here. I'm not giving advice to Metalloid. I'm not giving advice to the top guys in the Rising Star League. But I'm giving advice to the people that aren't playing multiplayer right now or are afraid to join into the amateur tournaments. That's basically the kind of audience for this. We've got Badlands next up. This is also a pretty interesting setup here. And the reason I'm spamming Cutter is because most people will be playing Cutter anyways. Main campaign protagonist character, right? Makes sense. Let's cover Badlands next. I'm gonna head up here. I want that power bundle, as always. I love the power bundles. You guys are gonna get rich off of that stuff. We're making a Jackrabbit to accompany the Marine. It's just too far. Even with raid from UNSC, which makes your guy faster, it takes too long. We're gonna upgrade this pad. And I actually really like a third pad in this one, because it will be easy to control the mini bases with that. And the Jackrabbit will help the Marine fend off any attackers, of course. We're likely not going to see that. And we should get a lot of power with that. If there's no attackers, your Jackrabbit can go over here. If the other guy doesn't know what they're doing, they're not going to be gathering this, so it's just free power for you. And then we're going to get our generator next up. Okay, there is a chopper. We're not going to want to mess with that. The rabbit can escape it. And hopefully we can pick up one of these bottom bases. Up here, it's a good idea to get a barracks. I think as long as we control the minis, it's all good. Generator still upgraded. I think this marine can go up here and pick up our side's power there. With the marine, I'm gonna head back to make sure this mini base is secured as well. Let's see if that's being gathered from. It probably isn't. That's an unusually good haul, but it's because it's AI. And then here, you're gonna want to produce Hellbringers and Marines in order to pressure this mini base. The AI likely won't respond to it very well. A human would. We're gonna keep upgrading these pads and just get more income. Having 3 minis is huge here. I've left this last for safety reasons. Arguably could have done the bottom one sooner if I forego some other stuff. And well, they didn't do anything. It's some kind of scout business here that they're doing. So as we see that, we reduce our Hellbringer output, and maybe we start thinking about the Spartan. They're gonna pressure the bottom here. As you see, we picked up most of the resources. We're gonna want to do these, and you guys can do that. Some little bit left here for our Hellbringers, and the Marines can just start taking the power nodes, of course. Let's get our grenades up. And once we have the resources, we get the Spartan as well. Because we don't have a lot of Marines here, I'm again shooting long distance. Don't want the Marines to get killed. But now we do have enough. And we can just get the capturing done. Spartan's basically ready to go as well. We're spending the resources as much as we can here. And next up, we have money for the second generator. You see that exactly as I was hitting 400 supplies, I'm recycling because I know that by the time I'm done doing that, I can already buy that second generator and really benefit from that cost effectively. We can add a turret, or we can start upgrading more stuff here. I think we're just going to upgrade this generator. We have enough income from the rest of the map as is. These guys, we're going to send them straight to the next power node because we can. Get the ODST drop. And then see if there's some kind of fighting going on down there that we can engage with. I'm going to save up my resources right now for ODST and other stuff. But we're starting to get rich, so let's add in some more production. Hellbringers, they capture actually slower than Marines. Like, the best units are Marines and Grunts to do the capturing with. We can afford a turret now and still have enough ready for an instant ODST drop if we need it. And that's 5 power nodes. Most of the resources picked up. There's a little bit here, but whatever. As long as you pick up everything, as long as you capture core mini bases around the map that are clearly important to have, you're generally going to have a good time. We haven't done the hijack upgrade because we have 5 power nodes. That's one reason I skipped that, actually, guys. So we can go for a really quick tier 2. And that actually brings us to a decision point where, do you actually go for that tier 2? Or do you rather like get another few bases around the map? You know, usually it's just one. It means you're spending 200 power, and that will stop you from going tier 2. But it takes time to go tier 2. So if you are comfortable, if you have map control, if you have an army out to defend, then why not take this base before you reach 1,000 power, right? You have the supplies. You can take that, and you can have that complete while your tier 2 starts 200 power income later. And then when you are tier 2, you just make the buildings on that base. So yeah, that is going to be this map. We've got Sentry. That is unfortunately in the map pool as well. Then we've got Sentry, guys. This map is something. Get ready for a long haul if you get that. This is the power node, power bundle that I like to go to, and I usually send a Jackrabbit with the Marines so that they can very quickly reinforce in case there's some early fighting. That bottom mini base is what I want to buy usually here as a UNSC player. And we're gonna use this one Marine here to take the nearby resources. We're gonna get a generator. Again, the time to buy this bottom base is not gonna be instantly. But hey, we'll have a Jackrabbit with our Marines to secure the spot. We're gonna do this right now. And we're gonna help with our Marine to beat this other one so that the Jackrabbit can stay a little bit healthier. We're not gonna micro too much, because that's a different guide in the future. Probably just video only for that one. And then we just keep our pads rolling. This Marine, before it leaves this area, as it picks up, I want to save up our 200 so that I can buy this mini base before he's done. If I have to send him back from like here, because I forgot the mini base, that's a huge error. And the Marine will be spending less time gathering. These guys, we also need to keep them busy and look for more. The Marines I'll send back to pick up those. These Marines are going down here, and the Jackrabbit will check down here just in case. The other side also didn't dare to go. And here I like to have a barracks in the bottom. And you can argue whether it should be a generator in the main, whether it should be a hero. I think we're going to make it actually a hero in this one, just to be safe. And have a lot of resources here, and you can afford to make like a sniper or two or a Hellbringer at the very least to deal with any Marine action. Then you have a lot of resources at this point in time and can pick the upper mini base if the other guy hasn't done so. Spartan's basically ready to go, it's just slightly fumbled timing. And lastly, we want that mini base over there. Next up, you're going to want your power nodes. It's going to be a lot of supply income from these minis. And our objective here will be a relatively fast tier 2. We don't usually engage too much in tier 1 on Sentry, I would say. You can do that. You can definitely do that. And Cutter has some potential to deal damage. What you definitely want to do is do a scout with that rabbit. I accidentally pulled it back home. Spartan's done. And we could get his upgrade, but we could also not and just do the generator now. Since we have the resources, we might as well. Marine stopped attacking there. Okay, so we don't have a base. We might have a rush though. The AI has been very mysterious so far. Okay, this is some kind of fast tech. They have 2 gens. We have 2 gens. We're upgrading it. I'm not sure they are. But this means that they're not going to be making a lot of stuff right now. We haven't seen any army. We could even fast expand now. Because there's nothing threatening there, right? Like, they're turreted up. They spent more money on buildings than we have. And we also have a double generator, so we're not really behind. We're going to also make a turret just in case. And in case they managed to hide something, but they didn't take the mini base, so you know, we don't really have to be worried. If they did take the mini base and there was a barracks on it, that would be a very different situation. Alright, let the Spartan do most of the work against the Sentinels here so that it gains some veterancy. It will increase its stats. And go into the next spot. You'll notice I'm not upgrading my supply pads. This is the situation I described on Badlands, actually, where my base is upgraded or building while I'm getting ready to go to tier 2. It's not perfectly aligned, right? Like this will finish sooner, but it's okay because we can just make some buildings on this. Actually, we can even make an extra generator here while these guys are out doing business. We'll send back some troops to protect our little expansion there. The third generator is usually risky. I'm doing it because I feel I am under no risk right now. That's the only reason for it. These Marines can just go and take the remaining supplies. There's some more here. There's some more here. Oh, we forgot to make a building. There's some more here. So we could have taken all of that. And you know what? We're gonna go and do it now. With these Marines. Just one of you. Okay, tier 2 is achieved. We can get our armory up and running. We can get our air pad back home. We already have a barracks. That's going to be great for our Hellbringers and their upgrades. And here, it's a very good little feature that you have the garrison, because if anybody takes this power node, you just have a Marine in there. You wait it out until they leave. Like, they probably take it now, right? I'm not going to fight them. We're going to get some stuff going for the Spartan there. Get their upgrades. Get the base upgrade at the same time. And then all we really need at this point is vehicles, I suppose. We can add some Warthogs, we can add some Wolverines if we need to. We can add some extra turrets so that our leader powers progress a bit quicker. We can consider a third base even. We have the resources, right? So spending is all important stuff. Oh, they're going Warthogs. No surprise there with the fast tech. Let's steal one of them. And drop some mines on them. Oh, they're taking a beating. Yeah, getting some Cyclops out here is very important. We're probably not going to have the easiest time. Oh! Taking Mech Blast, but no worries. We have Diego to help. We're also going to have the Nightingale, which can hopefully save the base. Yeah, we're fine. Another Nightingale. We're going to work on that Spartan Laser in a moment. And add that garage, of course. Or garage, I think we'll make it another barracks, actually, because they are going Warthogs as is. And then there's no significant power spend that we've got coming up other than the Cyclops. So one thing we can do is start upgrading our supply pads. We have quite a bunch. Every 200 power will be upgrading again. You'll see I've spent all my resources. And like I said, we waited until the Marines here have supposedly left, right? Like we had let the other guy keep these power nodes. We can go back now and take over once again. This one Jackrabbit we can dispatch with just our Diegos. We can keep making more of those as well. And we're done back here with the armory. I'm going to keep it though, because we will need population upgrades down the line. This is like a pretty good moment to attack. You don't have a lot of leader powers though, so that's something to watch out for. This is a poke, not a real big attack. But we're going to make sure they don't have like a base coming up. If they do, we can put some damage on that. We have the Spartan Slam ready. We have the Lotus Mine ready, and these two are finishing up their cooldowns. We have the Nightingale smokes to rely on. It's not like an Isabel is going to have many tools available here. While attacking, you can also distract by taking the power node if it's taken already, but that's not the case. Okay, we don't have enough to like absolutely demolish them, we might as well do a little Warthog steal here. And okay, as we work our way up to our 5th leader point, we just add in some more turrets once again. We get going with all of those supply upgrades. We can get our infantry upgrade as well. And you'll be on 5th point in no time, ready for your ODST assault group, ready for your Cyclops drop, ready for your ODST drop. And the only power spending left is really reinforcements over here. You want to do that as soon as you're able to, after you got a good economy set up like this with a ton of floated blue. We're only doing that float because we want to do a big drop in, of course. Can do stuff like thinking about a 4th generator. I think right now it's the pressure instead. Okay, the upgrade will finish just as we're attacking, which is great. We don't have enough pop, actually, to drop in these. So we'd have to lose some units, but we are not going to because the AI is too weak. Alright. Now you've seen we've taken the entire map again. We've been more or less efficient. It wasn't perfect here on Sentry, but you guys got the idea. There's more maps. There's Mirage. And then that's it. That's the maps. Once again, with Cutter, we're going in. Then we'll cover some side topics, such as Yapyap, Forge, Pavium, because their economy works a little bit differently. So here, I really like taking that middle power. We're going to make some extra Marines. The Marine here is really not expected to succeed. Okay, what it will do is force 2 units from the Banished to be here. We can just jump into the garrison if we're not successful and tie down 2 boys. Usually a scout, usually a grunt. But if they let you take it, then great. Gonna get a generator third, of course. And we're gonna not necessarily piss off the sentinels, but you could. It's very likely there's a scout gonna be there to pressure your resources, but they can't be both here and here, right? They have to be in one spot. And if you have 2 Marines taking this garrison, it just means that they are gonna have an easy time killing the sentinels while you get up in the resource department to 300, at which point you can take the middle mini base. Then some nearby resources. These Marines should probably come up here to get working. Yeah, there's the scout. They're just going to our main, so that's all good. Can take a side mini, and if you already got this kind of setup, it's acceptable. The middle mini will provide you a lot of extra income in the long term. That's where you want your barracks. Right on the front lines, and then if your Marines can hold these locations, it's even better. They can take side minis, that's even better than better. And definitely one of those cases where you want your early Marines to have grenades, I'd say. We'll add in a Spartan, of course. We'll take the side resources. We've basically taken what we could from the map. We just don't have the second power node that would rightly belong to us. We're going to prioritize these little pick-me-ups. You might be under attack pretty soon here, though. It's very common. Can add a second barracks even. Actually, if we cancel this Marine... Oh, no, we shouldn't have canceled the Marine. Couldn't actually afford a Spartan yet, power-wise. But now we can. Okay, we picked up what we could. Let's get more power nodes. And that's it. Everything's picked up. Usually you'll be under attack if you have the middle mini first. The other guy has spent less all around the map, right? So they just have a resource advantage. They're going to have numbers advantages, which is why you need that Spartan out, which is why you want to litter the place with Lotus mines, which is why we got the early grenades so that we can defend ourselves the best we can. That's it. That's the pathing. From here, once you have an advantage in the fight, you can go and take a base. Then you get your second generator as well. Usually first, actually. And then we can upgrade this Spartan next, or the generator itself. I think generator is the priority. We got turrets here. Ideally, the buildings aren't idle for long either. And then your objective is to attack the other mini bases if you can. You gotta be careful with it though. Especially here, they have upgraded ghosts and everything. So we're gonna upgrade that Spartan, in fact. Just to have a bit more punch to our name. We're gonna get that ODST drop. A bit of a jump here. Unload our grenades. And at this point, we can think about an extra expansion. We don't need the ODSTs, that's why. Armory we can get rid of. Can add in the supply pad upgrades. Could have done that earlier. It's my mistake. Okay, there's the mass ghosts. Okay, let's see if we can take him. We'll need the 800 resources though for that. Come on. Plump up, boys. Alright, so the way to get that done is you drop in your ODSTs once you have a good clump, which these guys are preventing pretty good. Then you drop in your Spartan, then the mines, then the ODST satchels. Should be ODST satchels before mines, actually. But still pretty good results. You have a massive army to work with. Our base here is done, and we're nearly ready to go tier 2. It probably would be very close if this hadn't been decaptured. And boom, we're ready. Alright, that's pathing for this map. We don't have to show the tier 2 stuff again. That's all the maps. That's all the maps. We've spoken about the importance of expanding. That's one of the topics I promised in the video description or the stream description. We've put it all together already with UNSC. I think we should do a proper Banished run as well. Maybe talk a little bit about Forge and Yapyap and Pavium, and just see how that goes. So let's go to Bedrock and just talk a little bit about Yapyap, because he has his free units, right? That really changes the equation a little bit with the build order. So you can technically afford a much earlier second generator than the others do. Like, let's say we still make a chopper for pressuring the Marines, right? But we've got these cannon fodder, we have to spread them everywhere. And it's usually a classic thing for Yapyap to try and take some of their mini bases. We're gonna go and try that. And the chopper also will be looking to pressure initial units. And yeah, guys, I know bots are dumb, but this is just showing what you're supposed to do, not what sweaty multiplayer game is like. Okay, Jackrabbit has us, but that's okay because we've got the chopper coming in. Gonna get the generator. Can we get that mini base steel? Looks like yes. It's a pretty big deal. Because it allows us to be more on the pressure side. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna rush or anything like that. But we could. That's the threat of that mini base. Like, UNSC to this has to usually respond with a barracks and get Hellbringers out in order to clean the mini base up. So that we, at this point, if we just decide, yeah, we're gonna make a pad on that only, then usually nothing happens, right? And one thing we could do is actually forgo the mini base, because they're so focused on this, right? And then just get a power extractor. Now, sometimes UNSC will try to take your own mini bases in the back. But hey, if you can get a second extractor back home, just off of a mini base deal, and still get your minis, that is huge. And then, of course, because your cannon fodder are free, every time the mini bases are done, you can just start spamming from them, including from that one up there that we didn't do. It's gonna be some kind of jackrabbit spam, which is not usual against multiplayer opponents. We're gonna get a raid camp up in order to defend ourselves, of course. We're gonna get a turret as well. And methane. We can upgrade our other pads if we want to. We're gonna do just one here. And get out some methane. We'll do both. We'll do both. Because we know we're gonna be in tier 1 a little longer here. And we can just go into EMP heavy grunts. Really strong. Especially if you back them up with methane wagons. It's one of those really clean strategies. And already at 3 minutes 40, and it could have been faster, we have a fully upgraded set of buildings on our main. We're going to be double pumping our EMP heavy grunts. And we can sustain production as well of cannon fodder from our minis, which is pretty huge. Looks like they ran into the main over our mines. Another neat thing here is that you can just start capturing power nodes if these guys aren't near, but they are near. Of course, methane completely changes the equation, where jackrabbits would be scary for a low number of infantry, but, well, they're debuffed. Your guys are buffed. Big power differential, and we're very, very close to tier 2. So one thing I want to do now is get that expansion over there that they don't have their eyes on. And then we'll also have shade drop available, which I'm just gonna plop down right here so that they leave and let us expand. But you could technically use it offensively on the other side of the map and just cause a whole lot of trouble to their buildings. They actually have really good building damage considering they're a turret. We can go tier 2 now and just get out our counter units in tier 2. Save it Yapyap because we didn't have to spend anything on our initial units. We got to save up all of resources, got to have that very fast second generator. We can even get a generator here in the back, actually, in case that's not going to be a big threat from Sergeant Johnson, probably. This base is finishing up. We'll have 3 generators as we reach our tier 2. And we are working on power nodes with a very hard to beat army. And by the way, as we're there, we can add in elite rangers because, well, infantry is probably more of a threat at this point than vehicles are. We have EMP grunts, right? And we have methane, so that's pretty good. We're gonna add some more pads, and we're gonna add, not pads actually, we're gonna add heroes here later down the line. In the main, we're gonna add probably an apex for our engineers. Upgrades ready, and then we have 2 war councils here, unlike in pretty much any other situation. That's a Yapyap special, guys, because you can make free heroes, right? So you want them out as soon as possible. You want them upgrading while you make heroes, and you can accomplish that with 2 of these buildings very easily. So we're gonna just start them up here, and the other one will be taking care of the upgrades once it's ready to go. Okay, we definitely overextend. I think we overextended. So let's just pull this back. We don't need to be there, but we could do technically a drop. So, you know, it adds up. If you drop them in as soon as you can, that can be a good thing. We're gonna just let this one pump out all the rest. Get our extra building slots, and we have some extra population, so heavy grunts is not a bad idea to fill this up. We can go with our cannon fodder because we're arriving near max population, and we want to get some space back if we can. Short swim launcher, a very big damage increase to our goblins. Should absolutely take that, and we can add in some engineers, but we're at pop limit, so yeah, let's waste these guys, so to say. They're free, so you can't really waste them. We have a drop in if we want to use it, but we don't. We don't want to use it. They're still on Jackrabbit, so we're going to add some hunters through as well. Engineers. It's a good thing we didn't drop into that. In the meantime, we can just take more power nodes, of course. And of course, we can set up our third base with Yapyap. We could have done earlier as well. We're more or less spending our resources. That's gonna be good enough. Another big idea is usually to get your shield generators at this point in time. We're nearly there. Okay, there you go. You got a really solid tier 2 Yapyap army. All the heroes are out. Got engineer support for them. Got methane support for them. We can add more methane, of course. And as the war councils are no longer needed, you can just start getting rid of them. Get some more resource income. You'll need that for populating your third base. You'll need to get on your way to tier 2 as you upgrade supposedly your infantry upgrades. You upgrade your My +1 for your heavy grunts, as they'll be so beneficial in the long run here with methane support. And there you go. I think that's enough Yapyap right there. Let's go over Sergeant Forge. He's also a little bit different. You have to be a little bit quicker with Sergeant Forge to get your building upgrades. Let's just do Bedrock again. It's obviously got a super nice hero, but the most important thing is rolling economy, the leader power that makes your building upgrades a little bit cheaper as well. So you just open with supply pad and generator, not double supply pad. Why? Because as you click in rolling economy, the upgrade costs get reduced, and actually that marine will already have gathered enough here that you can upgrade both of these buildings. And then you just keep going with pads and whatnot. Still want to add in an extra marine in there for my pick-me-ups. Most of these actual upgrades get done much faster with Forge as well. That's what this does. You see, it's already over 300. So even if you made a Jackrabbit, you would have enough, because this is just 240. Great saving. As we pick up more, we'll be able to get another supply pad upgrade here. Could have clicked that a moment sooner. And we're gonna get a watchtower for the back slot. Okay, we can afford another supply pad upgrade there. And then we're gonna want to work on our forge hog. Could have been this slot actually for it. We just have the one marine for now. It'll take some time to open up on those sentinels. Usually you don't want to go for a rolling economy 2. That's a pretty rare thing that people do that. Like usually people have some more active stuff like heavy metal in order for them to defend against any rams or whatever. What is this? Borders. Okay, I guess we could get the high ground over there. With one marine, it's absolutely painful to take on the sentinels. Like, you really have to use the maximum range. Which is why it's beneficial to just have a little bit more stuff out. Again, also against Vortis, you can just get more jackrabbits out. Yeah, see, the marine actually died there. So one thing for Forge is that you can just get many jackrabbits to go with your Forge Hog. They'll be fast enough to keep up with it. You'll still benefit from the buffs. And you can take some map control with those guys. The objective is never to necessarily go all the way to the Banished base here with UNSC. We have our 2 upgraded generators after all. We have most of our upgraded buildings. Don't have to upgrade absolutely everything, but you could. We're getting brute rushed, so it's actually a pretty good setup that we've got for ourselves. As the jackrabbits will be able to more or less counter this. Can make another turret. The Forge Hog hugging turrets is actually pretty strong because it just makes the turrets more resistant to damage. Got to shoot into a good little clump there. Rabbit is being destroyed. Though I wouldn't say the AI is going to be smart enough to hop in here. Like, they're just running in circles here at this point. Wait, that's how you basically open up with Forge. We can start thinking about a second base behind this. AI is probably not going to see it coming. We've got the scatter bomb combo that you can think about. Of course, the AI is amazing at splitting. They completely avoided that. Can get a second base up. And we can still kill the stragglers. But it's okay to float your resources a little bit here, right? Like, we don't need to click up to tier 2 the first moment where we have 1000 power. If we can start a base as well at the same time, that's a good thing. And you know what? Since we have all these resources, we're going to start the generator with our unupgraded pad getting recycled. I think that's a good trade as well. Every kill on these sentinels is going to give us leader power XP. The capturing action is going to give us leader power XP. So that's all pretty useful stuff. The base is up and running. And now we can surprise ourselves with garages everywhere. This generator can upgrade in a second as well. And just add a lot of hogs. Forge is definitely one of those leaders that really rewards vehicle play. This should have been probably the second building here, as I can't quite afford defensive aura right now. Could have been this building, for example. On the main, it's very defended. Looks like we lost a marine. Need to make a new one. Always good to know if they're going for expansions. They're probably not. And from here, we just really print our vehicles. Have enough power to get a vehicle upgrade as well. And definitely have enough power to keep upgrading pads more. You could drop in some Kodiaks at this point if you want to forego, let's say, some of these buildings. Like this one isn't being made right now, so we could just cancel. Save ourselves some money. Get this going. The pad upgrade there. And just drop this in at 1200. Timing wasn't quite right, but I mean, we're definitely benefiting from the Warthogs. There, basically all our buildings are upgraded. The Kodiaks are able to shell the base as well. I'm gonna target them on the turrets. It's very important to manually target your Kodiaks, guys. I see a lot of people not doing that. Big mistake. They're really good against buildings, and they're actually not that great against units for a long time until the numbers are really there. You can see what they're doing to the turrets there. We can also go tier 3 right away. Pump some more Warthogs into this and start picking off the extractors. Of course, they probably have some base business going on there. Let's take a look. Now, we could be shooting at the hunters with the Kodiaks, right? But they'll miss, they'll do a little bit of tickle damage. Instead, if you take out buildings with them and just guard the Kodiaks with your other stuff, you're probably gonna see much better results. Although over time, you'll definitely tickle the units to death. Being tier 3, you can upgrade your Forge Hog very easily. It's just 650. It's nearly there. We can start probably both this and vehicle level 2 and the Forge Hog upgrade. Basically nothing left on that main, so we can just destroy the expansion, especially as it's being built. It's taking a lot of extra damage. Gonna get Gauss Overcharge for the Forge Hog. Makes it basically invincible. Look how many Warthogs we have. Did we actually forget a single building? Yes, we didn't upgrade that one. Everything else we did. That's great. 80 pop. The next mission would be to upgrade this. You can get yourself some turrets, or you can save up for your Grizzly Battalion if you don't feel you need it. You know, that's soon enough. If we had the possibility of throwing away some of these hogs, we could. But the AI is dead, so that's Forge in a nutshell. And lastly, I guess we got Pavium to look at, who's got the burnout power, which makes him quite a bit different from the others from an economic point of view. So you need a different initial build order to get into him. What I like a lot is also an extractor second, but we're gonna definitely go with a chopper here. Similar to Forge so far, right? Well, burnout, you could use right away on the first two buildings. That's something to consider, and I think we will. But you're paying full price for these upgrades. Burnout will just increase the output of your buildings individually. And as soon as we have the resources here, we'll be using burnouts on this to get quite the initial pump. And then this lot, we want to make a power extractor. Why? It's good for the long run. It's not that it's one of the styles. You don't have to do it this way. But the reason it's good is if there's an extractor there, we'll wait for the harvester to finish. If you do burnout level 2 on the rear buildings, you're going to target 5 buildings plus the main, right? Whereas if you target the front 4, that's just 4. It's a smaller number than 5. Today you learned. So we're going to put the 2 generators in the back, and we're going to have more generators in the back later. It's time to capture the minis, however, as all the buildings are scheduled now. I'm gonna get a watchtower for the top. And we're gonna upgrade this as well, because initially we're just targeting the front 4 buildings. We're not tier 2 yet. We don't have our 7 slots. So we do what we can with what we have. A turret has never hurt anyone in this situation. We're very, very greedy, definitely. But we can take a look with that chopper to see what's up. You can even just root around the back for extra safety. Keep that guy going. Okay, I see a Hellbringer. Might be some kind of early attack. Which is why we go up there and confirm. The chat's telling me to go search ranked. I mean, if I get searched out by the top 5 players, I'm sure I'll be able to explain how the game works. That's you guys know that's what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that now. We're gonna get our hero out. He will help me defend the main base if it's under attack. Burnout 2 is basically ready to go, so we're gonna cast that right away. Making sure that all the front buildings are in its area. And we're just gonna bring home our grunts, see if we can capture a power node or 2. Gonna upgrade our Pavium. If you wanted to be really greedy, if you spotted something crazy like the other guy trying to take several bases at once, you could grab one yourself at this point. Now, are we gonna do that? Maybe. I mean, I'm not seeing a big attack coming my way, so I will do it. It's not that big. Pavium's out. I'm feeling safe enough. I'm gonna piss off those sentinels. Get them to shoot the UNSC boys a little bit. Okay, we might need some suicide grunts here. We are gonna go, however, tier 2. Get a 3rd turret, because we'll probably need that. And what we really want is that 3rd leader power point. That's one of the reasons I'm getting the turret, because I really want to wipe this army. Gonna get some suicide grunts for safety, as that army is really clumped up. Got a rain of fire, so if we tag one of the units in the middle of this, they'll all be slowed down. And that should be a full Eatus Deletus, especially with the suicide grunt cleanup. Okay, let's get that next power extractor. Our extra base is also up and running, which is great news. And we could have burnout free if we're really greedy. We could do that. For now, we're just gonna get another harvester here. Burnout's nearly ready to go, so we definitely want to get this upgrade going before this is ready to click. There we go, it's ready. We're just waiting for this last building and we're off. Now we're burning out 3 generators. And we're also going to upgrade this harvester, of course. Our income's going nuts. Next, we want to upgrade our Pavium. And maybe get out a ranger or 2. For our 4th point, we're going to be looking into the Wraith Invader. And we're going to start moving out our production from our main base as we want to just use burnout there. There's a Wraith Invader. Let's get going with that. Maybe a 3rd base isn't crazy at this point in time. We're gonna want to get reinforcements too, of course. Later we're gonna have... Oh, you know what? We're gonna do this now. We're not gonna do the 3rd base. We're gonna get a 4th generator. It's a little greedy, but we're nearly ready for a burnout. The base is quite well defended. We have a decent army. We have Wraith Invaders coming. I'm satisfied with what we have. We're gonna get, of course, a Reaver, because that's one of the weaknesses of these guys. That they just don't have full coverage for anti-air business. Burnout's nearly ready to go, but 5th point, we're not gonna go burnout free. Need more limousines. 5th point is Lich. I'm gonna start saving up from here. We have 2 Reavers already. We're gonna have like 3 limousines. Can do a burnout in the back here for power. Upgrade whatever remaining harvesters we have around the map. And boom, burnout on 4 buildings, 4 extractors. And it seems we have enough resources for whatever. The Lich is near. In the meantime, we can do a small attack. It's probably the one with the grunts, right? Yep. That's a pretty big miss. Sounds like they have a base here. You can hear it under the minimap. And we could technically go tier 3 in the back of this. Like, I'm not supposed to have all those power nodes. I'm not used to this. But you can see how crazy our resources went from burnout, right? I saw we put all of our resource income basically on the back base, on the main. These guys have some pretty serious base damage, actually. You wouldn't expect it, but it's there. Still making Marauders. We're just gonna upgrade. Get more Wraith Invaders. And there's our 5th point. And then you just drop your Lich on an enemy base, support with your boys. You can produce from here, and guess what? Locust is a good unit against bases. So let's order a bunch of those. They don't have to walk across the map. We can snipe the base basically, especially with our hero's ability. Painting it, you can add a rain of fire if you want. This is wild. Very quick way to delete the base. You have a crazy economy behind it. You're ready for another burnout. Buy all the bases. That's Pavium. Alright guys, I think I've covered all the topics for you to get started. This is not covering the micro, it's not covering scouting in detail, it's not covering broad strategies. You have many other options. I'll be taking a bunch of questions in the chat now to just see what you guys are interested in, if there's anything that's unclear here so far. This is just to get you started. This is not to compete against the top pros, but you know what you can compete in? You can compete in the amateur league that's coming right up. So that's a fantastic thing to do. You can just make an account on our website. It is super quick. And once you have made the account, you can do something as simple as connect your Google, Microsoft, Discord, you name it. We got all these connection options. And then you just go to our tournament link, which we share on our YouTube. We share it on our Discord. We send out a newsletter about it. And you can just join with a single button click. Join tournament. That's it. So just watch out for our announcements when these tournaments come up. And you can join them anytime. Now, the amateur league in particular is pretty interesting because we only allow in the lower rank players. So you got the C to F tier players allowed in. And if you take a look at our leaderboard here, our tournament leaderboard, which is basically a leapfrog system. If Scootman beats EOD, then Scootman becomes number 2 and EOD becomes number 3 and Daylon becomes number 4 and so on. But yeah, S, A, B, they can't play in the amateur league. So this is like a not too wild environment for you guys to join into. And you can just be one of these C-tier players and play in the amateur league. If you're below that, also good. You will play against similarly inexperienced players and test your skill in a 1v1 setting where you have to play multiple leaders. You have to know all the maps, just like in ranked. Well, a bit unlike ranked, because in ranked you can only play one leader, right? We currently have a bunch of signups for this one. We have the next one on November 15th. You can join that right away. So yeah, let's see if there's any questions in the chat. And if not, then we've got a sponsored segment coming right up. Maybe I will take the requests for playing a live game and trying to explain what I'm doing. But if I do it on my main account, I'll just find some very high ranked player that I probably can't take on even without talking. That's usually what happens. Doesn't seem that there's any big questions in the chat. But what I'm hoping for is that you guys found this useful in some degree. We might cut this together into a guide video. We might do that. Pull a cars, make a new account. Thanks for that. Tell you what, boys, I'll throw in a bonus match. Why not? Let's do it. I'll put it all together in a real multiplayer game. I'll probably get crushed by some top player. But I'll try to explain once again what it looks like as a cutter. Let's do that. Instantly found someone. I mean, you just know I'm in trouble. I'm in danger. Okay, live game time. We're going up against an Arbiter, which can be pretty damn dangerous, especially on Frontier. Let's do our early Jackrabbit here. We're gonna move forward with one of the Marines, and we're playing against Eject USB Stick, whoever that is. Probably a scary Smurf. So we're gonna grab our shortcuts here for camera locations, a PC only feature. We're gonna get those forward locations. I'm a little worried about getting attacked right away with the starting units. It might happen. And we're gonna head towards the back. We are in fact under attack, but we have the Jackrabbit with us. We have to add in a lot of micro here as well. Ay, 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 ay. And both of us just want the infantry dead, I suppose. And he's better at it than me, so I guess he has gotten a valuable kill there. The Marine is worth a little bit more than a Grunt. Let's get our back mini base upgraded. And we've been denied a little bit of frontal power, so let's see if we can grab that one maybe. But this is going to be difficult, for sure. Now there's two paths forward. We could go infantry, but we'll be going up against ghosts, and that's spooky. Especially those arbiter ghosts are spooky. So for now, I'm not sure how I feel about any of that. Okay, our resources are picked up. And we're gonna get out some Marines. Oh man. We can potentially share the resources here. That's good enough for me. If UNSC can share, that's not bad news. Really? What do we do here? Just feel like we have to get grenade marines and then pivot into a Spartan. Because there's gonna be many ghosts. Ah, they already have their upgrade. What? The Sentinels have detection? That's insane. Okay, the ghost got grenaded a little bit at least. It's something. Can take a power note here. Yeah. Oh, miss. We missed. Nearly ready for our little Spartan upgrade as well. Uh-oh. Getting knocked into the damn mines. They tried to make us get in there. Now if we can just get into ODSTs soon, that would be great. Trying to get the power nodes, but easier said than done. A lot easier said than done. Alright, we're nearly there, guys. We're nearly at ODSTs. It's picking off our reinforcements. This is nasty stuff. terrible. He's got all the power nodes. He's got a million ghosts. And guys, I can't do this with like people like Savior searching around. That's not possible. Just wasting my time with these ghost run-bys. Yikes. It's got multiple groups now and my guys aren't fast enough. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't do this guide business while playing against top players. I can't even beat them regularly, let alone trying to fight them off while talking. If I beat Savior, that's an amazing day. Normally, these ODSTs you want to use offensively, but I was just tunnel visioned, I suppose. I'll lose every mini. Oh, suicide grunt. Didn't notice that. Anyway, let's get some Spartan upgrade. Let's get some Vortox out, perhaps. Oh my god. How many of these bastards does he have? Oh, that was a really good detonation, but it's not nearly enough. To make a run for it. Oh no. Ooh, we saved an ODST. Well, we're ready for an ODST drop there, so... Oh, really? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we got some good pickoffs here, guys. That's, this hope. Maybe. What? He still is pumping ghosts. Oh no. I'm in so much trouble. Have another Cyclops ready. That's something. It's not much, but it's something. Oh my god. He's definitely happy having me run around like this. The Rangers be coming. Wait, he doesn't have a base here? Wait a second, what's going on here? Wait a second, we're actually doing damage. Holy shit, how many of them are there? Ah! No, how many? He captured his base here, didn't he? Oh, that is nasty, dude. Yeah, he did. Oh, we got this. Soon. But is it enough? We'll wait for that Spartan now. Holy cow. Now, if you really wanted to get the Spartan, he has teleport, so... Well, how many hunters do you have, sir? Looks like the answer is yes. He has hunters. A few 100 million. Wait, does this actually work out here? I seriously doubt it. Bruh. It's all over. Oh my god, he's still pumping. Okay, GG. I can't do it, guys. I can't do this with ladder. I would have to make a new account like you guys are saying. There's no way I can do this on ladders. So, yeah, I want to thank you all very much for joining in for the guide session. I am not going to beat Savior. I can tell you that much. But I hope it was useful for the newer players. We're going to be swapping over to today's sponsor segment with Call of Dragons for like 30-something minutes. And I guess we'll say bye-bye to the YouTube. If you want to hang out some more on Twitch, I'll be answering questions right there, as I haven't been any in the chat. But yeah, if you have some more, I'll answer it during the sponsor segment. Thanks, everyone. See ya on Only Twitch.